Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Started the recording. Can we start the class, Prabhuji?
Yes, bro.
Hare Krishna devotees, Dandavat Pranam. Welcome to Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Today we are fortunate to have the association of His Grace Swayam Prakash Prabhu, who will be sharing the nectar from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, chapter number 13 and sloka number 9. Prabhuji, over to you, Prabhuji.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet. नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवतीरुत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो. Today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 13, entitled The Forest of Material Enjoyment. Text 9. क्वचिन्निगीर्णो अजगराहिना जनो न वैति किञ्चिद् विपिने पविद्धाः दष्टस्मशेते क्वच दण्डशूके अन्धोऽन्धकूपे पतितस्तमिश्रे. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. I'll just share the screen. Translation. The conditioned soul in the material forest is sometimes swallowed by a python or crushed. At such a time, he is left lying in the forest like a dead person, devoid of consciousness and knowledge. Sometimes other poisonous snakes bite him. Being blind to his consciousness, he falls down into a dark well of hellish life with no hope of being rescued. When one becomes unconscious due to being bitten by a snake, one cannot understand what is taking place outside the body. This unconscious condition is the condition of deep sleep. Similarly, the conditioned soul is actually sleeping on the lap of the illusory energy. Bhaktivinoda Thakur has sung, Kota nidraya maya pishachi rakole. O living entity, how long will you sleep in this condition on the lap of the illusory energy? People do not understand that they are really actually sleeping in this material world, being devoid of knowledge of spiritual life. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu therefore says, Yena chi aushadhi maya nashibar lagi harinama maha mantra lao to mimagi. I have brought the medicine to awaken every living being from perpetual sleep. Please receive the holy name of the Lord, the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, and awaken. The Katha Upanishad also says, Uttishta Jagrata Prapya Varan Nibodhita. Oh living entity, you are sleeping in this material world. Please get up and take advantage of your human form of life. The sleepy condition means loss of all knowledge. In Bhagavad Gita 269, it is said, Yanisha sarva bhutanam tasyam jagriti samyami. What is night for all beings is the time of awakening for the self-controlled. Even in the higher planets, everyone is under the spell of the illusory energy. No one is really interested in the real values of life. The sleepy condition, called Kala Sarpa, the time factor, keeps the conditioned soul in a state of ignorance, and therefore pure consciousness is lost. In the forest, there are many blind wells, and if one falls down in one, there is no chance of being rescued. In a state of sleep, one remains perpetually bitten by some animals, especially snakes. ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वः पदान्तिकम् वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादि पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्यनामिने गौरप्रिशे नमः हे कृष्णकरुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधा कान्त नमोस्तुते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नीलाचलनिवासाय नित्याय परमात्मने बलभद्रा सुभद्राभ्यां जगन्नाथाय ते नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कुंकुम लंघाते यत्कृपा तमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदीनतारिणं परमानन्दं श्रीचैतन्येश्वरम् Hare Krishna. So, thank you for giving me an opportunity to well on Srimad Bhagavatam and discuss. So, as we are continuing our discussion about the discussion between Jadabharata and Rahugana, which is uh, happening in the discussion of Shukadeva Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj, which is being heard by Shukadeva Suta Goswami and Shonaka Rishis. So when Jadabharata starts speaking to Rahugana. First thing Rahugana understands about his ignorance of being not able to identify the greatness of Jadabharata. And the moment when he hears or understands the glory of Jadabharata by hearing the philosophy of from Jadabharata, he really takes back and he begs for forgiveness that I'm not even fearful of anything than the the Vaishnava Aparadha. And then he goes on to discuss about this material world, which is like a great forest, and all the things previously also in few of the verses from the first verse is being explained. And this whole chapter 13 and 14, are same chapter which is explained. In chapter 13, he speaks in a way of a riddle, and in the next chapter, uh, kind of allegory. It's the 13th chapter, and then Shukadeva Goswami gives its direct meaning to Parikshit Maharaj in the 14th chapter. So it's our acharyas, especially Prabhupada also mentions, and Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur goes on to correlate these two chapters verse by verse. And for today's verse, this 13th verse, or sorry, 9th verse, it has two sections in terms of speaks about the python. The man merchant is swallowed by a python and he loses his consciousness. And the next second part is the sometimes the poisonous snakes bite him and he falls in the dark well. These two, 9a and 9b, corresponds to two verses in the next chapter. There is the 20th verse and the 21st verse of the 14th chapter, wherein Srila Shukadeva Goswami clarifies that when he is speaking about this, the python biting the living entity of the merchant, that means that people are bitten up by the python of sleep, and because of which, when loses consciousness or when one is sleeping, he is not aware of what is happening in the external uh, world. The same way, it shows that he remains in the darkest ignorance and he cannot understand what is going on in the life, in the sense of, as we have heard also, that when we sleep in the night, Prabhupada used to tell that all our senses are put into rest. And only one sense which is active is the ear. So that's why Prabhupada used to give this example. If you are sleeping and if a thief comes and while sleeping, all eyes cannot see the thief, or uh, one is unaware of it. But when somebody says, Mr. John, there is a thief, immediately becomes alert. So only the ear is active. Otherwise, he is not aware of what is happening in the outside. In the same way, that is one kind of sleep wherein we are sleeping and we are unaware of the external world. Our acharyas say this whole world, what we are living in, is also like a sleep or sleepy condition, and we are dreaming. And sometimes in the dream, we see that the tiger is coming and attacking, and we start sweating. And for that moment of period, it appears as if that is a reality. And heart starts beating faster, and there is anxiety, fear, and we start running, and literally outside also on our body the perspiration comes, and then at one point of time we just get up and then we realize, oh, it was a dream. But till the time our eyes are closed, we feel this is real. The same way our acharyas say this whole material existence of the world we are in living is also like a sleepy condition, because in the sleep we are ignorant of the external things happening. The same way we are ignorant of our real identity. In the sleep we may see ourselves as a like no different objects. Like no, we may become a king, we may become a beggar or whatnot. That way we lose our real identity. The same way when we are in this material world, being ignorant of our real self, he is also sleeping under the lap of Maya, and because of which he is unaware of his real mm, identity. That is, Jivera Swarupa Krishna Nityadas. He forgets it and he considers himself as the Kartaham iti manyate. Like now, that I am the doer of everything. So, and he starts thinking like no, everything whatever belongs to me, and like no aham mameti, that whatever things of this world belongs to me, and I am the controller of it, possessor of it, and I am the enjoyer. And he tries to enjoy, forgetting that no matter how far or how much one tries to enjoy, but one cannot enjoy it fully. So because of that avidya, he, in the nectar of devotion also it comes that how because of this ignorance, avidya, not able to see, a person desires so many things, and those desires are stored in the mind, and because of those desires he gets the newer and newer bodies every time. And just to fulfill those desires, again he takes birth, and he forgets his real identity, and is again and again falling in the deep dark well. That's what is the like no mentioned in that, like no sometimes blindly falls into a deep dark well. That is also like uh, Shukadeva Goswami compares this to unable to see properly and losing his intelligence. He is troubled at heart, he says. And because of that, he uh, desires something which may not be healthy or favorable for him. And he gets newer and newer body, sometimes in the upper planetary system, sometimes in the this uh, as a human being, and sometimes in the lower planetary systems or different species of life. But till the time that desire to enjoy or that forgetfulness of the real identity is there, he'll be sleeping in the lap of Maya, and the life goes on. And while being in this, one tries to be friend with those who are helping him in his sense gratification, or considers them as mine or his, and those who are not helping him in his sense gratification consider them as the enemy. That's what even in the case of Prahlad Maharaj also we see that Shantanu and Maraka were teaching the same thing to Prahlad Maharaj and his friends. And there also he says, like no, to his father, that like no, oh father, you are the Asura Varya Dehinam, you are the greatest of the Asura Varyas. Tat sadhu manye Asura Varya Dehinam sada samudvigna dhyam asat grihat hitvatmapakam griham andhakopam vanam gato yad harimashrayena. That he says, so my dear father, uh, you are greatest of the asuras. Asura Varya Dehinam, you're in the Asura Varya's body. Sada Samudvigna Dhiyam Asat Grahat. You're in the Asat Graha, the wrong this one. And because of it, Sada Samudvigna. Udvigna means that great anxiety is there. Sada Samudvigna Dhiyam. Like the intelligence is lost and the constant anxiety is there. And Asat Grahat. Hitvatma Pakam Gram Andakupam, because of which you have fallen in this deep dark well, Andakupam. Like no, this Griha is called as, like no, he's telling it as Andakupam. When it becomes Andakupa, when there is no Lord in the center. Recently, His Holiness Bhakti Prachar Maharaj was also telling in a house program that house is also called as a Bhavana. Bhavana means where the Bhagavan is there as the center, that is Bhavana. And when the Bhagavan is not there, then it becomes just a Vana. And who stays in the Vana is the animal. That's why I tell, like no, Hitvatmavakam Gram Andhakupam. Like no, you are in the deep dark well. And so what is the solution? Vanam gato yad harima ashrayena. So give up this and go to Vana, for the forest, and Harim ashrayena. That take the shelter of the Supreme Lord Hari. So till the time one is there in this like ignorance, till the time one cannot understand the real identity. That's why Prahlad Maharaj says again that one doesn't know what is the real selfishness. So what is it? Swartha Vishnu. That one's real self-interest is to serve the Supreme Lord. So one forgets it and tries to serve his senses and like no, this Maya Devi. And that is because of the avidya. Even in the fourth canto also, it comes that Athakayam imam vidvan avidya kama karma bihi. Like no, those who are in full knowledge of the bodily conception of life, who knows that this body is composed of nescience, desires, and activities resulting from illusion, do not become addicted to the body. Those who are in knowledge. But those who are not in the knowledge, what happens? They, they completely their life is filled with trying to fulfill the desires of this body, and they engage for those things. And Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur also says that, like, no, this swallowed by the python means he goes to sleep and not woken up by the friends, he is afflicted by evil persons like snakes. Because if one is sleeping and if one is not woken up, he's again affected by that. Uh, if nobody wakes him up, he'll be in the ignorance only. And because of which, blind and without able to discriminate, he falls into illusion of the blind well covered by the darkness, which is filled with the miseries. So that's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is also like no saying in this the song which Bhaktivinoda Thakur has written that Jeev jago, Gora Chandra bole, Otha nidra jao maya, Pishachira kole. That how long you'll sleep in this like no lap of illusory energy, Pishachira kole. Maya Devi puts like no she does the she has two energies. That is, one is Avaranatmika Shakti and Prakshapatmika Shakti. Avaranatmika Shakti, she covers the living entity from his real identity. And that too, why she does this? It is because of the living entity's his own self desire or the itcha of the living entity that I want to enjoy. So when he wants to enjoy, Lord gives him an opportunity to fulfill his desire, and the Maya Devi covers him so that he can forget his real identity and try to enjoy, but then baffled by the material elements, material energy, then comes to the senses and tries to find out, why am I suffering? I don't want to get beaten up, but why I'm continuously being beaten up? And then understand that, oh, my real identity is to serve the Supreme Lord. And then he comes to the senses. So that way, that's like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying, energy aushadhi maya nashibare lagi. I have brought the medicine to wake up every living entity from perpetual sleep. So Harinama Mahamantra lao tumimagi. So please receive this holy name of Hare Krishna mantra and get up. So although it has been given, but generally the tendency is that one is in so deep sleep sometimes, even if you are woken up, we don't realize it and we feel um, completely unaware of the external things. I remember once I was traveling from Pune to Chennai with one more devotee friend. While traveling, I was feeling sleepy. I told him that, like, no, bro, please, after half an hour or something, please wake me up and we'll do some book reading. Then I slept, and after some time, I just opened my eyes. I saw that he's like no reading himself, like no alone. I thought, my God, I requested him to wake me up, and I saw the time. It was almost 1.5 hours. I told wake me up after half an hour, and then he didn't wake me up, and he's just like no, so selfish. He's studying himself. Then he saw me, and Prabhu, you are really, I think, uh, very much tired or something. I tried to push you and wake you up, and still, no matter how many times I called you, you didn't wake up only. Then I realized that sometimes how we assume, and because I was in such deep sleep, even tried to wake up, like no, but I didn't realize. The same way, sometimes the one is in so deep ignorance because of the past, like no karma, as well as the uh, desire to enjoy in this material world, that even when the devotees want to help, one is not ready for the help. One is thinking that why they are disturbing, even when the like they call them for the program or try to give them the holy name or some way to connect with Krishna. They feel like they shut their doors rather than like not trying to accept it. But what to do then? You need to understand that yes, the Sukriti is not yet built up for them to accept it. And this is the duty of the devotee is to increase the Sukriti of the people by different means, either by giving prasadam or being giving the books or the holy name. Somewhere or the other, they should be brought out of this mission. So, uh, Vishal Chakravarti Thakur also like now tells in the uh, translation to this verse. He says that swallowed by the python of sleep, absorbed in deepest ignorance, he lies down in the deserted forest like a neglected dead body. He does not know anything. So our situation also is like that only. And somehow by the whatever good fortune, uh, it is Srila Prabhupada and the devotees, they helped us to wake up. But our situation is those the pure devotees are they are also they're completely awake and they know who they are actually. And a person who is like no fully in the deep dark ignorance, he also is in one sense he is happy because he doesn't know what is happening outside. But as we are like in between, and our situation is we know that we are in a state of kind of a um, swapna or like no that in between the dreamy state. In the dreamy state, sometimes we are aware of not dreamy kind of what you can say. We are aware of what is happening outside. We are hearing the sound and all, but at the same time we are sleeping. That's our condition. That although we know, we have heard the philosophy, yes, we are not this body, but still at a time or many other times we are acting on the platform of the body only rather than trying to act on the platform of the soul. And again, somebody comes and some senior devotee comes and gives class, shake us up, and then hey, yes, 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 no, we should be alert and we should be awake. And then again, after some time, we again start dozing. Recently, also many devotees after the class of Bhakti, Purushottam Swami Maharaj, everybody were very much inspired to hear that part, and it was kind of shaking one up, and they were telling, yes, bro, we should do something. So much discussion were happening that we are not doing anything and we should do something. So the same way, we need the devotees in our life who can help us to bring us out of this state of sleepiness. Otherwise, the time may pass and we may be in the same dozing or in the sleepy state. As we see that our acharyas, how they had uh, like no, completely even the sleep in terms of the real meaning, also physical sleep, also as well as their uh, self-realized. Let's say the Shri Goswamis, they would hardly practically they would uh, rest for very little. So they did not even one sense sleep at all. And of course, they slept for some time because the body requires some sleep. But that too, they slept about only 2 hours or something, and sometimes even not even that. They are completely engaged in the spiritual cultivation. That's what I said. Nidra hara vihara kadi vijito sadharma sanstapako vande rupa sanatano raguyugo shiji vagopalako. They were no, following in the footsteps of the Goswamis. They had given up the sleep. Nidra ahara vihara adi vijito. Vijito means they had conquered over all these things. So, another Prabhupada also writes that we should also try to reduce this, the four activities of the eating, sleeping, mating, and defending, which are the common for the animals and the humans, and to try to reduce it. So that's why even Arjuna, he was called as Gudakesha. Gudaka means the sleep, and Isha means one who has conquered over it. No, that's why it's called as Gudakesha. So Arjuna had conquered both the sleep and ignorance, and how could it happen is because of his friendship with Krishna. Even we see in the case of physical sleep, he had conquered, and when he came to the battlefield, and there he was ignorant of his real duty. That was the time he heard the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita from Krishna. And after hearing the knowledge, then he came to his senses. So then he acted no, he said that uh, Krishna, so be it, I'll act or do as you want me to do. I'll act the way you uh, desire me or direct me. So that is the nature of the a true devotee, that when he understands, comes to the senses, then he is ready to follow the direction given. And Srila Prabhupada also, that's why, went to the place which was completely ignorant. That Prabhupada, in the Leelamriti, if you read, Prabhupada, Satsara Maharaj writes that how was the place? It was deep, dark, kind of filled with ignorance. Once Prabhupada was in the London, and something came about the hell. Prabhupada said, London is hell. And the journalist was taken aback. Swamiji, what did he say? London is hell. Why? Because in hell there is no light. It's completely darkness, and that's why here in London also hardly any sunlight comes. It's always dark. So Prabhupada was speaking from the both the perspective in terms of the externally also it is there is no sunlight. Whereas second thing also people are so much enamored by the uh, considering that this body is all in all that they don't worry about the next life or what's going to happen. So uh, that's why one needs to conquer this sleep and ignorance, and this can be done by thinking of like Krishna constantly as well as the instructions given by Krishna. So even in the like sixth canto, Prabhupada, while mentioning about the Ajamila section, Prabhupada writes in like 2-3 perfects very nicely that a man engages in sinful activities because he does not know what he did in his past life, and to get his present material conditioned body, which is also subjected to the threefold miseries, Adhyatmika, Bhautika, Devika, Kleshas. So Rishabh Dev, he says in his teachings to his sons, the fifth canto, fifth chapter, like he says, Nunam pramatta kurute vikarma, like that a human being is mad after sense gratification, pramatta, like no, and he does not hesitate to act sinfully. For what? Yadindriya priteya apranoti, he performs sinful actions simply for indriya priti, that is sense gratification. And nasadhamanye, but this is not good. Yata atmatoyam asannapi kleshada asha deha. So, and what happens because of engaging in such sinful actions, one receives another body in which he has to suffer, like no, and he's suffering in this body because of his past sinful activity also. So, therefore, it should be understood that a person who does not have Vedic knowledge, he always acts in ignorance of what he has done in the past and what he is doing at the present and how he will suffer in the future. He is completely in the darkness. So therefore, the Vedic like injection, as we have heard, like no tamasima jyotir gamaya, that he says, don't remain in the darkness, tamasi, and this is darkness also represents the ignorance. And what one should do, jyotir gama, that one should try to go to the light. What is that light? Light of knowledge. So the light or the illumination of Vedic knowledge, uh, by which one can understand like uh, who he is and what is his real duty in the life, and he can be elevated to the mode of goodness. And when he transcends the mode of goodness by engaging in devotional service to the spiritual master and the supreme lord, he can see the things as they are. That's why Shvetashvatara Upanishad says, Yasya deve para bhaktir yatha deve tatha guru tasyete katita hyata prakashante mahatmana. So unto those great souls who have implicit faith in both the Lord and the spiritual master, all the import of Vedic knowledge are automatically revealed. That's why when it is said in the Vedas that tad vijnanartam sagurum eva vigachet, that one must approach a spiritual master who is in full knowledge of the Vedas, and he faithfully uh, hears from him, and as directed by him, he becomes a devotee if he follows what he says. So, and when he follows that, then the knowledge of the Vedas are revealed. And when the knowledge is revealed, one will no longer remain in the darkness of this illusion of the material world. So, in any case, one receives an inferior or superior body at the discretion of the Supreme Person Godhead, and that is based on the, the sanction by the Paramatma. But how does he sanction? Based on what we desire. So ultimately, it comes on our responsibility that what we desire or what we have in our the consciousness. So that's why Prabhupada in the purport writes, especially in this age, human society is covered by the mode of ignorance, and therefore everyone thinks his present body to be everything without consideration of the past or future, and because of which they don't think or do anything to set right the problem. They are busy trying to search for the gratification of the senses. That's why if you see so many newer and newer ways of enjoyment, like they keep coming. Uh, One ends, the other, they find out one more type or the way. Once one of the devotee was sharing that, like, he was there in the US for good amount of the time. He said, Prabhu, the US is, the whole country is made in such a way that even if every weekend, if you want to try a new way of sense gratification, like either travel or the food or this one, like so many different things are there. Even if you keep changing it every Sunday, different activities, still like no, you'll feel that oh, there is something which is newer. So that much they come up with in newer and newer things. Why? Because this material world is made in such a way that no matter how much one tries to enjoy, it cannot give us complete happiness. It's like a fish out of the water. No matter what we give to the fish, it cannot be happy unless it is put back into the water. The same way for this, the living entity who is a spirit soul, unless spirituality is given till that time, no matter whatever is given, he is not happy and he thinks, oh, this thing has not given me happy. Maybe that will give me happiness. Or the other thing will give me happiness. In that he keeps like no again and then again falling in the trap of the Maya and like no he loses his intelligence and he as here also he is uh, Jadabharat is telling that he falls in the dark well of ignorance. So that's why we should all like we should um, uh, while struggling in this material world. So one should um, pray to the Supreme Lord by surrendering into Him and pray to Ignace Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Ainanda tanuja kinkaram patitam mam vishame bhavambudo kripaya tava pada pankaja sitadhuri sadrisham vichintaya. That my dear Lord, O son of Nanda Maharaj, Ainanda tanuja, I am your kinkara, I am your eternal servant. Patitam mam, I have fallen, Patitam, I have fallen in this Vishame Bhavam Buddha Bhava Ambudhi, like the ocean of material existence. I have fallen in this ocean of nescience. Kripaya, please, Tava Pada Pankaja, please give me, keep me as your at your lotus feet. Tava Pada Pankaja, lotus feet. Stita Dhuli Sadrasham Michintaya. Just pick me up and keep me as a dhuli or a dust particle at your lotus feet. Otherwise, unless we surrender unto the Supreme Lord, there is no way uh, to come out of this ignorance. That's why Bhaktivinoda Thakur sings that Anadi karma fale padi bhavanava jale tari nade ki upai. That Anadi karma fale, because of the Anadi, unable to remember when or what had happened. Like because of that, Anadi karma phale, because of my own karma of long time. Padi bhavarnava jale, I have fallen in this like ocean of nescience. And taribare na dekhi upai. And to rescue myself or to come out, I am not able to find any way out. So that's why Prabhupada writes in that purport, he says that we should remember that everyone is responsible for his own life. If an individual becomes a pure devotee of Krishna, he is then delivered from the ocean of nescience. And Prabhupada used to tell that our like I have created this movement to make pure devotees. So when we try to um, endeavor to purify our heart and to get rid of the anarthas, then with that effort, in another some purport I was just reading that Prabhupada says that everybody should individual endeavor, or everybody should make their own efforts. Otherwise, without that, it is not possible. Even in the Prabhupada writes in the first canto, 15th chapter, one has to play one's own plane. That when the plane is there, the pilot, he is given training in the floor, but when he takes the plane in the air, then nobody will be there. He'll be alone, and he may get some instructions, go here, go there at this angle and other things, but he has to act on that and take responsibility of the flight. The same way for all of us, we may get the direction by our superiors, the spiritual masters and all, but when it comes to the flying the plane, we'll have to fly all our plane on our own. That's why no one else can help us, or others doing something will not help us. Just like when 10 planes are flying in the air, it's not that one is following the other. I'll not follow. Why should I follow the rules and regulations that the other 9 people follow? No, that will not help me. All the other 9 may follow, and then they may be going ahead, but I may be not following, and then I'll be in my own world. So that responsibility lies in all of us. Otherwise, we'll be like just dreaming, and we'll be in our own life cycle in the lap of Maya. That's why in the another song of the Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Maya Vashe Yacha Veshe Kacha Habudubai. That he says that why are you being carried away by the waves of the illusory energy in various phases of dreaming and wakefulness? These are all creations of Maya. So that's our only duty is to remember the supreme director of the illusory energy. That is like Krishna says, no, Adhyakshena Prakriti. And Daiviyesha Gunamayi, Mama Maya Duratya. But how to come out of it? Duratya. Mama Maya Duratya. But that Maya Metam Tarantite. Like by taking shelter of the Supreme Lord, like that is the only way that we can come out of this ignorance. That's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to say, Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama Iva Kevalam, Kalau Nastyava, Nastyava, Nastyava Gatirandita. Especially for this age of Kali, there is no other way other than the chanting of the holy name of the Lord. So that's why for self-realization, one should always remember Krishna as stated in Padma Purana, which says that Smartavya Satatam Vishnu, that always one should try to remember the Vishnu, and Visvartam Yo Na Jatuchet, that we should never forget the Supreme Lord. Then when we try to follow the instructions given by the scriptures, we will not fall again into the deep dark well of hellish life and beaten up by the python in the form of the sleep, and will be awakened to our real identity, and that way we can be happy. So these are few points which I could recollect. I'll just pause here if any of you want to share something or reflections or contemplation, please. I'm open. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you very much for a very nice class. Devotees, may please unmute your line and share your questions if you have any. The lines are open. The devotees can unmute and ask questions. Can somebody try to unmute and see whether you are able to unmute?
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranams, Prabhu. Thanks for the wonderful class. Prabhu, I have one doubt. Prabhu, this sleeping and dreaming has been given as an example for so many things. So now this world without the Krishna consciousness is just a sleeping and dreaming state, or is it real, Prabhu?
Yeah, it is real. It is this. That's why the Mayavadis say Brahma Satya Jagan Mithya. They say that Brahman is real, but this Jagan Mithya, this world is unreal. But as a Vaishnava Siddhanta, it says it is not the Jagan Mithya because it is real. It's a manifestation of the Supreme Lord. But it is temporary. Just like a person who, when he is sleeping, so he's sleeping, but the experiences which he feels, that is real, but that it is a temporary state of period. So that way, this world is real. Although he is sleeping, the same way, although one may be ignorant of this, the real purpose of this world or this one, but still, the world is real.
Yes, Prabhu, world is real. But if we don't come into Krishna consciousness, we are all simply sleeping and dreaming like that, Prabhu.
Yeah, in the sense that in the dream, one gets affected by whatever is happening in the dream. But a person, suppose if two people are there, one is sleeping, one is awake. A person who is sleeping and dreaming, he may be sweating and he may be in a great anxiety because tiger is coming. But a person who is awake, he is able to see that this fellow is just sleeping here. Why he is so much in anxiety? The same way, a person who is not aware of the self-realization or not, who is completely ignorant or not worried about that, and a person who is self-realized, both are looking the world or in a same way, but one may get affected by the things of this world. Ups and downs affect him too much, whereas for the other person who is self-realized, like whenever the ups and downs are there in this world, he doesn't get much affected. Recently, when Chaitanya Champa had come, he was showing it with a kind of a diagram. He was telling that for a materialistic person, the world is big and the God is very small. And because of which the world is big, the ups and downs in the world, that also has lot of effect in his life. Whereas for a spiritualist, the God is big and the world is small, because of which the whatever ups and downs in this material world, he may get affected, but it is not, it's very insignificant. That is the difference for this.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. Dhanyavad.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna devotees, any other questions? Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you very much for the wonderful class. And we will end today's session with the Vaishnava Pranam. Vancha kalpata rubhyasya kripasindho vyayevasya Gita Nam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. We'll meet again tomorrow morning, devotees. Happy Dashara and Vijayadashmi. Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, tomorrow we have class, Prabhu.
Yes, Mataji. As usual, at 7:15 we will have.
Okay. Thank you so much.